Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and well people of the tube. Hope today, hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. Welcome to A&Q Wednesday. I hope you like the 80s inspired intro. That was where music obviously wanted me to be today, but I thought it was very 80s. It's like Def Leppard, and like, you know, just those kind of bands. But yeah, that guitar for that, yeah, I felt like I was Steve Clark, just not as good. Anyway, let's get to question one, shall we? Shall we dive in? Yeah, so, plus the Les Paul definitely wasn't low enough because it had the tremolo arm. Anyway, I'm digressing back to Steve. Anyway, awesome guitarist, by the way. Very overlooked and very, very sadly missed. Okay, so anyway, let's get to question one. So question one today is, I recently watched a video with John Mayer talking about his black Strat. He said he's played it that much, he knows all the tension needed for every bend and everything like that. He said he can be super precise because he knows the guitar so much. What do you think to that, and do you feel the same way with Mr. White? Yeah, he's bob on. That's the thing. When you've played a guitar so much, you understand everything about it. You know its do's and don'ts, if that makes any sense. Like, you know what you can do with it, and you know what it can do, and you know what you can't do with it, and what it can't do. You know its limitations, you know your limitations, you know where you can go, and you know where you can't. So, yeah, that makes total sense. The fact that he says he knows that black Strat so well, he knows exactly what each bend feels like tension-wise, I totally agree. I totally can understand that, yes, because I do feel the same way with Mr. White. I have it with a few guitars where I just know them. Mr. White being obviously numero uno. But one of the weirdest guitars that I got, where I felt that from the get-go, no ifs, no buts, was my red Oswald. For some reason, that guitar, as soon as I got that red guitar from Nick, it's like I had played that thing all my life. It still to this day freaks me. That guitar still freaks me out because it is one of those guitars where I'm like, I haven't had it. I've only had it since last 2020, and it feels like I've had that guitar since I was born with it. It's a really strange feeling. It's the same as Mr. White, but there's something else in the red one. Not to say, Mr. White's still number one, but the red Strat's weird. It's just something about, like I say, as soon as I got that guitar, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, that guitar did. And I say, I've got an unboxing video of that video, and I actually nearly start to cry, because I don't know why, it just really affected me on a very, very interesting, very heavy emotional level. Sorry, I do apologise. But yeah, that's the other guitar that, as soon as I played that thing, I just knew how to play it. I haven't touched anything on it either. The saddles are still the same height. I've restrung it. It has 9s on it at this point. It really likes 9s. But I haven't changed the saddle height. I haven't touched the truss rod, the intonation, or anything like that. It is how it came from Nick. And it's just a very, very ridiculously special guitar. Because I have 3 really special guitars. It's okay, calm down, I still love you. And you. But I have 3 really special guitars, which are Mr. White, the 62, and the red Oswald. Those 3 guitars, to me, are I don't know. I don't have the words to describe what they are, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's very hard to describe what they are. They're really special. Mr. White's special because I've basically learned everything on Mr. White. The hours I look at Mr. White sometimes and look at the fretboard on it and think, everything I know now, I learnt on that guitar pretty much. You know what I mean? 90% of what I know on guitar now, I learnt on that guitar. Obviously before that, there was my Epiphone Les Paul, there was my Washburn, there was my Squier, and there was also the Korean Fender I've got. But that was the guitar that really enabled me to get to the next level. Mr. White really did, and he kept me there for years. And he was my friend when I didn't have any, and he was my comfort when I didn't have any comfort. And he was my it was my reason, you know. It really important. That guitar is just so important to me. Hence why I don't dare gig it anymore. I'm terrified of anything happening to it. And again, I got that again when the 62 came along. You know, that was the same feeling. It was just really weird and like, whoa. Have I known this guitar all my life? No, I haven't. So why do I feel like I have? Why do I feel like I've played this before? You know, same as Mr. Red as well, the Red Strat, the old Red Oswald. It's just literally, I do apologise about my phone. It just came along. As soon as I picked that thing up, I was like, hello, old friend. Weird. But it wasn't. You know, it was a brand new guitar, but it felt like I'd had it for as long as I'd had Mr. White. I have the same feeling. And I think Mr. White gave me the ability to know that feeling. Because I don't get it with every guitar. You know what I mean? It's like I say, I've played so many guitars and I've owned so many guitars. And 3 out of all of them have had that feeling. Only 3 of them. There are obviously guitars with certain higher feelings. This guitar being one of them, that guitar being another, and a lot of the others I've got. But there are ones above that, you know. Like I say, and those 3 are just really, really special. Really, really special to me. You know, I've got a ridiculous connection with this guitar. I don't know where that one comes from, but I'm very connected to this Les Paul. Very connected to it. I don't really know why, but I just am. And I just felt like it's just kind of, when I got it, it was meant to be kind of thing. Like I you know, I just saw it in the back of a picture as well in the guitar shop. I got it from Gallagher's in Grimsby. It was just in the background of the picture. I was like, what's the white custom in the background? And again, it's just immense. It is literally one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played in my life. And it's definitely the best custom I've ever played. I love it. It just sounds immense. And it feels great as well. You know, well, it's one of the best customs I've ever played. I can't say the best because I've played quite a lot, but like I really like the Epiphone custom. That's an amazing guitar. When I got to play Paul Kossoff's Epiphone custom, Gibson custom, clever boy, that was immense as well. But I've got a bit of a, there's a different connection to this. It's not as strong as my RTL 59. The RTL 59 is my Les Paul, full stop. The RTL is just ridiculous. It's my favourite Les Paul I've ever played and probably will ever play. It's just ridiculously special, that guitar is. It's not, again, it's not on that. There's many levels and layers of kind of like, you know, how a guitar makes you feel. And like I say, to me, like the 62, Mr. White and Mr. Red are really up there on the high level. And then there's kind of like subsequent levels where the rest of these kind of go. You can't feel the same way about every guitar, you know, unfortunately. It'd be nice, but you can't, because every guitar, no guitar is equal. They're like us. You know, none of us are made the same. And the same thing is this. They may look the same sometimes, but they're not. You know what I mean? It's much in the same way as humans. You can dress humans in the same way, but, you know, it doesn't matter. They're still different people, you know, and the same goes for guitars. You know, these are all different personalities, different feels, different sounds, different, you know, quirks and nuances and stuff like that. You know, the Tokai custom that came after this will be totally different to this one, and the one that was made before this will be totally different to this one as well. My God, I'll tell you what, I can feel when I grab a guitar, I can just feel like there's an energy in them, and sometimes there isn't, and that means that's a no-no. Epiphone Les Paul Tobacco Burst, good example. It's kind of an energy in there, but not really. But I can feel things in them, like I'm drawn to them. Like, for instance, today's intro jam, I didn't know what guitar to play, and then all of a sudden I was drawn to this one. And as soon as I came in here, that was the first thing I played that came out of this. And literally, you know, like I say, that was the first take. You know, it is what it is. Technically that was the first take I made it all the way through, because the first take, the G string went really badly out of tune, like they tend to do on Les Pauls. So I had to stop and start again because it was so out of tune I couldn't get it back in, because I was like, I don't know where it is. It was so flat, it just dropped. But second take, got all the way through it, and again, it all was good. But again, The only reason I stopped it in the first time was just because that G string, I need to retune it because it would just be it would sound horrible and it would just be a struggle to kind of keep going. So I did it again, but that was literally 5 seconds in. You know, it wasn't anything in there at all. But guitars have a feel, they have an energy to them, and people always ask me, like, you know, well, how do you know which guitar to play on a given day? It's like, well, if they tell me, I don't, you know, music tells me. It goes, that one's got the song in it today. That's the one you need to play today. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't really want to play that one today. I want to play this one, or I want to play that one. It's like, no, this one here. You play that one. And you don't argue with music. It knows better. And today, this is where it wanted me to be. It wanted me to be in kind of 80s shred rock mode, you know, with the Les Paul Custom, you know. Oh my god, this thing's an absolute boat anchor. It's so heavy, but my god. I love it. I absolutely love it. And again, music was right. It's never wrong. It's never wrong, people with Tube. Just bear that in mind. I'm going to put that down here, actually. I'm a bit afraid it's going to fall. It's triggering me. But yeah, so when John Mayer says about his black Strat that he knows it so well that he kind of knows exactly what it can do and can't do, I totally understand that. Yeah, it's same with Bernie Marsden and the Beast. I remember Bernie Marsden saying, as long as he's got that guitar, it doesn't matter what he plugs into, he knows he can get the sound he wants and he knows what he can and cannot do. And I think that's everything. You know, to understand what a guitar can and cannot do in your hands, given what the guitar is. I know I can play really fast on this guitar if I want to. I have the guitar sat really low, sorry. Just so I'm not tempted to do that all the time with it. Because this is a fast guitar. This thing wants to fly. It really does. It really wants you to go. It really does. So I put the strap really low, so it hinders me to do that so much. So I can't do that all the time because it's too tiring to do it. But if I had the guitar higher, you can absolutely shred-tastic on this thing. It's ridiculous. It's such a great guitar. This is absolutely great guitar. This is one of those guitars as well, where I was like, if I ever have to lose this guitar, if this guitar ever goes out of my life, something's gone wrong. Because basically the two Les Pauls, out of all the Les Pauls I have, the two Les Pauls that I would keep if I had a choice of two would be this and the RTL. Because they're just immense. Anyway, and I just feel them. So yeah, that makes total sense what John Mayer's saying about his black Strat. I can totally understand where he's coming from with that, because I feel the same way about a lot of my guitars. Like I say, Mr. White, the 62, and Mr. Red, they're the highest it can get at this point in time for me. They're just ridiculous. And then obviously these ones are kind of like, you know, in subsequent levels. But like I say, I can feel things in a guitar as well. Like there's certain guitars I can just like, no, or yeah, or maybe that's not bad. And then there's some ones that go, and the heavens open and it's all joyous. But yeah, so that does make total sense. People with Tube, has anyone else experienced this? Let us know in the comment section below. So yeah, so that makes total sense. So, hope that's the question. Gonna move on to question 2 now. Is that really bright? I don't know. Okay, so question 2 is, do you ever feel your solos all sound the same? And if you've ever felt this way, what have you done to get yourself out of it? Yeah, I mean, I think every guitarist feels that way at some point. It's just a clash of confidence and basically just kind of like, you know, is that the same as what I've done there? And you know, but the thing is, you got to understand that we are destined to repeat ourselves. You know, we can't do something original every time. You know what I mean? Not even Jimi Hendrix could do that. You know, not even Eddie Van Halen could do that. You know, not many guitarists can come up with something brand new every time or change their style every time. It's impossible. So you are destined to be a bit similar. You know what I mean? Given putting yourself in whatever genre you play. If you play rock, guitar solos are going to sound a certain way. If you play reggae, they're going to sound a certain way. And you got to imagine, you know, you got to imagine, you got to think we've only got a certain amount of notes we can use, and there's only a certain amount of things we can do. And in each genre, there's a certain kind of like place we can go and can't go, you know. So yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I have crises every time I do a guitar solo. Yeah, I love doing guitar solos because for me it's a vent. It's not just a guitar solo isn't about showing off for me. It's about venting emotion and trying to make people feel better if they don't, or make people feel happier if they are, or whatever. I mean, I've spoken about that loads of times before, but that's why guitar solo is to me. It's not just me shredding mindlessly. It's got to mean something. Even today, you know, that had to mean something. That playing, I was, you know, I don't know how to describe what today's solo really means, because I don't really think I've got the words. But I feel, recently I felt quite frantic. Like, time just is going too fast. And I haven't got enough of it. And I feel like rushed. So if I feel rushed, I'm going to play fast. And there's a desperation there. So that's what today's solo felt like to me, because that's how I feel right now. Is I feel a bit kind of like, you know, everything's going too fast. Like someone who's put it into high gear and we're just flooring it, and I can't slow down. And I just feel like I want to slow down, but I can't. So hence the fast playing. You know, again, music takes me there. You know, it knows better than I do. It knows what I need to be playing to vent these emotions. And that's where I was today. So all that fast kind of shreddy playing comes from not me wanting to show off. It comes from, that's how my brain's working right now. It's going a million miles an hour, well, it always does. But like sometimes I can control that speed. Recently I can't. I'm struggling with that, to be honest with you, people. Like, it just flooring it. Like, it's just this chaotic kind of noise, if you will. Like, it's just crazy. I can't slow. It's like I can't slow down time. It's like I say, someone's put it into high gear, and I haven't got any control over that. So it drives me insane. So yeah, but the thing is, what I try and do now is how I get out of that. Like you say, you asked, you know, how well if you do think, how do you get out of it? What I try and do is just not think about it, just blank it, because again, it's all about becoming unconscious to music anyway. You know, just turn your mind off. Don't analyze it. I mean, if you're thinking about what you're playing from here, and that's not where you should be playing from. You should probably be playing from in here and in your gut. You know, your gut instinct and your heart. This is where you want to be playing from. This is not where you want to be playing from, because this will overanalyze. It'll say, oh, you've already done that 17 times. Oh, you've already done this. Oh, that. People are going to think you're rubbish. Oh, that guy over there hates you. He does, and that's just going to cause all this crisis. And you don't want that. You know, you really don't want that. So, you need to kind of like rein that in, and then just turn it off. You know, and just play. I didn't think about. I don't remember what I played in the intro jam. In all fairness, I don't remember what the backing track was. I knew it started with C, major. I don't remember where it went from there though, because I've you know, again, it's one of those things of like, I don't analyze things. I just do it. Music knows better anyway. I don't need to think about it. It's marionette. You know, I'm just a little puppet on a string. So when it goes, you need to play this guitar, you need this sound, you need that, you need to be playing like this. I'm just going to go, okay, and I'm just going to go, boom, turn off, and it'll grab hold of me, and it'll make me do what I need to do. You know, like my marionette impression. It's good, isn't it? Anyway, I've been practicing that for 10 years. But yeah, just don't think. Just shut your brain off. Because if you keep thinking, you are gonna wind up in that kind of place where you're like, oh god, everything sounds the same, and it doesn't. It's just that we think it that way. Guitarists, you know, musicians in general are terrible for this kind of thing of going, oh god, that wasn't good enough. Apart from the ego ones, but less said about them, the better. You know, we are destined to always go, that wasn't good enough. That needs to be better, or that wasn't good enough. That needs to be better. You know, we're all destined to do that forever and ever and ever and a day. Because that's the way a musician's brain functions, unfortunately. We're all racked with feelings of inadequacy all the time. You know, it's just crippling self-doubt. You know, there's those good moments and then there's crippling self-doubt. And unfortunately, crippling self-doubt is one of the main problems with musicians, you know, who really care about what they do, because it's always got to be the best it can be. And when you don't feel it is, it just kills you, you know. You know, I don't believe you have to be the tortured artist, or I have to suffer for my art. You don't have to be that at all. You just basically have to let music take control. If you're suffering, it means you're fighting against music, which you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, music will just be like, I've got you. Just don't worry. Just turn your brain off. Give me control. I've got you. You won't fall. You won't fail. I've got you. You know, it's a trust exercise. It knows. So you just put everything you are in its hands. It will take you, it will guide you, and it will sort it out. So you just turn this off and let it go in here and let it take you and let them listen and obey. And it's a good thing to obey. Music is the best thing to obey because it knows better and it's a positive force. It's not a negative force. Don't fight it. Let it in. Let it take you. There's no point going, oh, I can't do that. I'm going to fight it. I need to fight it. You know, you're gonna lose that, and you don't want to lose that. Trust me. You know, music will just go, fine. If you're going to fight me, I'll go somewhere else. And you don't want that, so you just go for it. Take me. Do whatever you want. You know, just you know, because it'll go right. You're feeling this today, so I know how to vent that. So give me control, and I'll help you vent that. It's the best thing ever. Every day I'm grateful for music, and I love being able to get kind of lost in it. You know, it doesn't happen every day. You can't get lost in music every day. Some days music's like, I'm sorry, we can't. You know, we need to be over here today, but you know, don't worry. You know, we'll be back. You know, you just got to trust in it. It's a total trust thing. Sometimes it'll go away. Sometimes it'll, you know, and then it'll come back. Like my friend Ian said, it's the same as like writing songs. Things are like this quite a lot of the time. I do apologise about my phone again. And then every now and again they go vroom, and they become one, and then they break again. You know, and that's what music does. You know, you just got to be open to it, trust it. You know, be one. Let it take you. Just submit. You know. Anyway, I hope that makes some kind of sense. Okay, I'm going to have to move on because I'll talk about that forever in a day. So I've got to be careful. So, question 3. I'm going to move on to question 3 actually, because that kind of actually does kind of expand on where I'm going with the question 2. So, question 3 today is, what do you do when you're playing and don't feel the music on an emotional level? What do you do to connect with it at that point? Normally, like I've said in the previous answer, if I'm not connecting with music on an emotional level, it means because I'm thinking about it. And in that case, what I have to do is I have to really dig deep to turn my brain off and find the off switch to go click, and then just kind of go vroom and just zone it out again and just become the marionette. That's what I have to do. You know, because invariably if I can't connect, it's because my brain's fighting it. And your brain will fight it because your brain's just an annoyance most of the time. It just fights everything, especially mine. You know, mine drives me insane because it's just constantly fighting me. It's constantly fighting other things. You know, it constantly wants to torture me and hurt me. So normally what I do is I have to dig deep and I have to go, right, I need to turn that off. I need to turn the brain off and go in here. Instead of being in here, I need to go down and I need to be in here. And it's hard sometimes, and sometimes I can't do it. And at that point, if I can't connect with, you know, if I can't connect, I can't connect. It's as simple as that. You know, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it's just not a possibility to do that. So you have to just kind of like, at that point, you just kind of accept it for what it is, if that makes any sense. You know, you can't always be clicked in, unfortunately. But you can start to zone it out. Again, just zone it, go away, turn that off. Come in here. This is a good place to be. That's not a good place to be because it will make you doubt yourself. It will make you make mistakes. It will make you fail in a way that's not productive. Because it'll make you doubt yourself and go, I knew I couldn't do it. And once you say that, you're beaten. So you have to go in here, which will go, you didn't do it this time, but you will next time. You know what I mean? This is like, see, knew you couldn't do it. Whereas in here, it's like, don't worry about it. You'll do it next time. I know you will. You know, there's two different parts of you. You know, and this one always gets you into trouble. And you hear so many guitarists talk about it. If you play from your brain, you end up in trouble because it analyzes. That's what your brain does. It's a calculator. You know, and it makes sense of things in that calculatic way. That's not even a word, but I've made it up. Calculatic. There you go, people of YouTube. New word. Copyright, Dave Simpson. Anyway, but yeah, it does. It's very problem solving, you but it's not in a good way. So you need to kind of get out there, get in here, up here is like a laboratory. That's what your brain is. It's a laboratory. It's white. It's sterile. Everyone's walking around in clean suits. There's nothing in there. It's just all very clean and precise and scientific and that kind of. And in here is a living room with very comfy sofas, a fire going. It's comfortable. You can just sit and you can relax and you can just be you. Laboratory, comfy. That's the way I see it anyway. But like I say, when I'm not connecting on an emotional level, sometimes that can be because I'm playing the wrong guitar, I've got the wrong sound, I'm not listening to music well enough. It'll say, do this, and I'm like, I'm going to do this, and then you kind of goes, well, you're going to fail. You can't do that. That isn't what's going to work today. That's not going to work out. And then, again, through that failure, you learn that, yep, music knows best. But normally, if you're not connecting, like I say, you've got to get out your brain. You've got to get out of there. It's not a good place to be. It'll just land you in trouble. So yeah, and like, how do you reconnect? Just zone it out. Zone your brain out. Go into the living room. Sit down, relax. Let the fire warm you and let it make you calm and relaxed and dozy and make you just kind of like drift off into into that place you should be when you're playing music of unconsciousness. You don't have to control yourself. Music does that. That's why it's there. So amazing. It's amazing feeling, an amazing power. And we should just all, as musicians, we should all just embrace it. But unfortunately, as humans, we can't sometimes because our brain just goes, I need to overanalyze this and understand everything. And it's just like, you're a total idiot. Your brain just lands you in trouble sometimes. So you've got to be really careful of that. But yeah, I hope that kind of made some kind of sense. Like that, those first three questions are kind of linked in a way. But I really do hope that made somewhat of sense. Somewhat of sense? Some kind of sense? Can't do English. But yeah, if you're not connecting, it could be the guitar. It could be the sound. It could be the room. It could be the atmosphere. It could be all sorts of things. And at that point, you've got to get out your brain because your brain will blank music out. You've got to get out your brain and you've got to go back into the nice, warm living room. And then you've got to be open and listen to what music wants and goes, right, for one thing, that's the wrong guitar. You need to be playing this guitar. And number two, you were doing this and you can't be doing that. That's too much or that's too little. You know what I mean? And you need to be doing this. And music will just go, right, get those things, come back here, I've got you. And again, it comes back to that trust thing. And just trust it, go marionette, and let it take you. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Makes sense to me in my brain, but maybe not in the words I'm saying. I don't know. Hope that makes sense. I'm worried now. Anyway, but yeah, so anyway, I hope it made you sense. Hope it made some kind of sense. I'm going to move on to final question today, people. To question 4 today. Is it really bright? I do apologise for like this white ghost creature with a huge forehead. So final question today. Question 4 has 2 parts. So question 4, part 1 is Mark Knopfler one of your influences? Not really. No. I can't really pinpoint anything that would make me go, oh, that's Mark Knopfler. I love his guitar playing. I love his songwriting. But I can't say he's an influence on me, no. No, there's nothing... No. I'm sure he's wormed his way in somewhere at least once. But as an influence, no, he's not on that radar. I always talk about the radar of guitarists. He's not really on that. Like a lot of guitarists aren't. I mean, you can only get a certain amount anyway. So, not really, no. I wouldn't say Mark Knopfler's much of an influence on me at all. Utter respect for the man, though. Great, amazing guitar playing. Melodic, gorgeous. He's his own thing. And I love his songs. It's just wicked. But as an influence on my guitar playing, no, I don't hear it. I don't feel it either. Okay, so the next part of question 4 is, what are your thoughts about using a line out to a PA if you're using a small amp? Yeah, if you're doing a gig. I mean, in all fairness, if I could, every gig I would go to, I would DI my amplifier. I don't mind microphones in front of cabinets, but I prefer DI. You know, it's something that's developed in me over the past couple of years, is how much I much prefer DI on an amplifier. Yeah, the DI on the MG is immense. The DI on the Katana is immense. Unfortunately, the CR120 doesn't have a DI, but there are boxes you can get to do those. You know, you get speaker simulation DI boxes and stuff like that. I can't afford any of them, but you can get those things. But unfortunately, at this point in time, CR120 is just mic only. But I love DIs. You know what I mean? Like, if I go to a gig and I'm not using the CR120, so it's a small gig and I've got to use the Katana, or it's just kind of like, you know, a quick thingy, and I haven't really got time to be setting up a half stack. If I used a Katana, I would just tell the sound guys, yeah, just come out the line out. Just line out and DI me. Don't worry about the mic. You know, there's no point messing around with that. And like I said, I just prefer it. I prefer the direct, cleaner signal. You know, mic is cool. I love the warmth of an SM57. I love all that kind of thing. But the DI just makes me very happy. And it's consistent as well. And again, it comes back down to that thing of me loving consistency. DIing an amplifier is just so consistent, and I love that. You know what I mean? I love it. And also, it just, when I'm recording, I don't have to wear headphones because I can't stand wearing headphones. It drives me insane. I hate it. Absolutely hate wearing headphones. But it's really distracting. And plus, I don't like that things that close to my ears. I really don't like, you know, like, I don't think I'd ever like in-ear monitors or anything like that. I think it'd feel weird. But who knows? Am I really white or ghosty? I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, line out. There's nothing wrong with that. Line out into a PA, DI box. Jobs are good. I mean, like I said, I would do that every gig if I could. I would DI myself every gig if I could. I mean, most of the gigs I play, I don't even need to worry about mic in the amp up anyway, because the place I'm playing is so small, I can just turn the amp up and go off backline, which makes things so much easier than messing around trying to sound check guitar amplifiers. You know, you can just line check with just getting everything level on the backline and then go from there. But if it was a bigger place and, like, you know, you have to mic up. I mean, I don't really get to play big places, unfortunately. But if it was a bigger place like a theatre or something, I would definitely want to DI, because it'd be so much easier. I think it'd be easier for the sound guy. It'd be easier for me. I wouldn't have to have anything in front of a cabinet, because that's another thing I really don't gets my goat, is having a mic shoved in front of the, like in here, for instance. Like, yeah, I can kind of get around it, but I'm so aware of them being there. It drives me up the wall, to be honest with you. I get really annoyed with having a microphone sticking out the front of a cab. It really gets on my nerves. I don't like it. Especially because, again, some of the places I play are so tiny that if I do have to mic up, you know, that mic sticking out the front of a cab is taking up real estate of me moving around, and I don't like that. You know, just to give you an idea, people of the tube. So this is how much room I have to kind of like move in. When I do intro, like, it's not anything at all. It's about, you know, it's not much different distance, and you can see how far the 57 mic sticks out. So I'm always aware of that. That's why I always end up kind of walking over here, because I don't feel I've got enough space there. So, and again, that's probably about the same kind of amount of size. That's probably about the same kind of room I've got at a normal gig that I get to play at. There's very rarely I get more space than that. Anyway, this is why I'd love to play in like theatres and on stages, because I like to be able to move. I like to be able to move around. I hate being static. You know, it really drives me mental. But yeah, coming back to DI though, love DI. Yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. Yeah, either way, it's really, really cool. Yeah, can't recommend it enough. Anyway, so yeah, I hope that's such your questions. Okay, if you want to submit a question for Q&A Wednesday, description box below, email link is in there. Just send me a question over, I'll get to it. Yeah, I hope this question's okay. I hope this has made sense more than anything. And yeah, I hope there's something in there you can kind of take away. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. I will see you again on Friday for another vid. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening until then. And yeah, goodbye now. Thank you much indeed for watching. Bye bye now.